Hey everybody, this is Rider, and welcome back to Let's Play Earthbound. As you can see, I'm one level away from finishing off the final level, and I'm going to fight a battle before I get to Frank. There's actually a couple required battles here, so let's go to the arcade. I don't think you can avoid that fight even with the skip sandwich, but it's no big deal because once you get to level 7, you can actually take this guy down in around 3 hits. What's great about these guys is they always drop hamburgers. Ooh, nice offense boost. That's going to come in very handy. And we finally learned PSI Rockin. That is going to be the key to defeating Frank. And no, I don't want to join your gang. So I have to fight this guy too. Great. Although with this offense boost, it should go down pretty quickly. PSI Rockin is really nice. It'll basically one-shot all regular enemies here, and it'll kill most bosses in a hurry as well. It deals randomly between 40 and 120 points of damage to all enemies. And this is Frank, the leader of the Sharks. Normally this guy is extremely dangerous because he has a swinging attack that does about 15 damage and a knife attack that does about 35 damage. This is the reason why I can't really beat him any other way. Now, I don't know any other way to beat him without equipment other than this spell, because he has 50 hit points. So he does quite a bit of damage. Frankenstein Mark II is notably easier than Frank himself, because he has to spend every other turn generating a burst of steam. Now, I could melee this guy to death, but I have the PP, so I may as well use Rockin. He's got 93 hit points. So he's really not a big deal. If I fought him melee, it would take about 6, maybe 7 rounds to kill him. And I could, it's just the fight before him, I just don't see a way to win. Once you defeat Frank, he disbands the Sharks. There's a monster at the end of Giant Step, where the sanctuary is. And that monster is actually pretty dangerous. The Sharks in the arcade will still be there, but they won't fight you. I think they actually become part of an environmental group after you beat them, according to the player's guide. But now that we've beaten the Sharks, we can go to the town hall, and just like Frank said, the mayor has a key to the shack that's locked up in the north end. If you try to come up here, this police officer will escort you out of the room. Out of curiosity, what's the reference with the mayor's name being B.H. Perkle? Because I never got that. Of course you'll be able to avoid responsibility. Of course, that's the only way you get the key. So now we have the key to the shack. But before we go into the Giant Step Cave, I'm going to take a minute to demonstrate something very useful around the town of Onett. This is something that the player's guide mentions, but a lot of playthroughs I've seen really don't use. And it's really nice. This is even useful later in the game. Have a look at this. If you go back to Frank, after you defeat him, he will refill your HP and PP for free. And it's really nice. Now that we have the key to the shack, I'm going to show you where that shack is. But I think I'm going to take a moment to save first. Probably wouldn't be a bad idea. Well, I probably don't have to because I'm not carrying any cash on me. As long as you don't carry any cash on you, there's really no penalty for dying. Oh, I don't have any money, do I? Whatever. Okay, now that that's taken care of, let's finally make our trip northwest. You might have actually been able to catch a glimpse of this shack during the night sequence. Which way is it? I know it's northwest of town. It's up the winding road this way. There's a couple tourists up here. If you talk to one of them after you open the shack, you will get a travel charm, which will protect the character you equip it from paralysis, but it doesn't do anything else. It doesn't add to your defense. Okay. The giant step cave is fairly dangerous. You have to watch yourself in here, because you can get attacked by very large groups of enemies. The cave to my left is empty, and the cave that I passed up just has, I believe it has a skip sandwich. And here's our first new enemy, the Rowdy Mouse. They have somewhere in the neighborhood of 45 hit points, but the most notable thing about them is they will critical hit almost every time, because they have, I believe, 217 guts, and they hurt. Pretty much just keep your HP up if it gets below 30, and pretty much just hope to outrace them. There we have it. Oh, what's this guy? Oh, crap. Black Antoids. These guys suck. They can cast life up to heal themselves. They deal about 25 damage per attack. And they can call for help. If you run into a group of 2 of these, I would just recommend using Rockin and get it over with. Oh, a cookie. Oh, great. That's a lot of them. This is the last new enemy, the Attack Slug. These guys are not dangerous in a normal playthrough. As a matter of fact, all they really serve in a normal playthrough is XP fodder, because they're very slow, and you can pretty much one-shot them in a normal game. And they only deal about 2 damage per attack. Without any equipment, they'll deal about 10 to 12 damage apiece. So if you run into a large group of these enemies, use Rockin. That's really the only way that you can survive. Ah, crap. I'm out of PP too. So hopefully I can sneak past these guys and get to that cave, because that cave's our goal. Whew. Okay. Okay, there's a checkpoint outside here. In this area, this magic butterfly I just got will always respawn. So you can use this as a base from which to explore the rest of the cave, as well as gain some much needed levels. So, what I want to do is, this is a little bit strange, what I'm about to say, but it'll make sense. Due to due to random factors in the way stat growth is done, I actually am not recommending that you grind to a specific level. I would recommend that you grind up to a point when you have a certain amount of PP. In this case, you'll want to level grind until you have 38 PP. The reason for this is not this fight, but the next fight. I'll explain that when the time comes, but you'll want to grind until you have 38 PP. You only need 35 for the next boss, but you want to get 38, and I'll explain why next time on Let's Play Earthbound.